Prologue: A ripple in the night. The sky over Green Hill Zone was an endless sheet of cobalt, streaked with the faint, pink gold of sunrise. Sonic the Hedgehog thundered across the rolling hills, his blue quills a blur against the grass. He loved the wind in his ears, the promise of the next loop, the feel of freedom that only speed could give. Beside him, Amy Rose pedaled her Piko Piko Hammer-powered scooter, her hammer bouncing against her hip with each hop. "Come on, Sonic! Keep up!" she shouted, her voice bright as the morning sun. "Already there, Amy," Sonic called back, flashing a grin. He zipped through a tunnel of golden arches, then vaulted over a shallow ravine, his feet barely touching the ground. They had been racing each other for fun, a habit that never grew old. But as they neared the ancient stone arch that marked the border of the mystic forest, the air grew cooler, the light dimmer. A low hum, like a distant choir, began to vibrate through the ground. Amy skidded to a halt, her eyes widening. "Did you hear that?" Sonic slowed, ears twitching. "Yeah, something's off." From the shadowed side of the arch, a ripple of darkness unfolded like a curtain being drawn. A swirl of violet and midnight blue twirled, coalescing into a shape that hovered just beyond the edge of perception. A figure with flowing white wings, a crown of silver that glimmered with stars, and eyes that flickered like twin moons. "Oh," Amy whispered, clutching her hammer tighter. The figure's voice was a gentle chime, echoing as if it came from a faraway dream. "I am Nights, guardian of the dream world," it announced. "A nightmare has breached the veil between our realms. I need your help." Sonic's grin faded, replaced by a determined scowl. "A nightmare, huh? Well, you've come to the right, Hedgehog. What's the plan?" Nights extended a translucent hand, and the space around them rippled, pulling the trio into a vortex of starlight. When the world steadied, they stood on a landscape unlike any they had ever seen. Chapter 1: The Dreamscape. The ground beneath their feet was soft, like moss made of clouds. Strange flora swayed in a wind that seemed to pulse with the rhythm of a distant heartbeat. Above them, constellations rearranged themselves in slow, deliberate arcs. In the distance, a colossal tower of crystal rose, its spires dripping with luminous dew. "This is the dream world," Nights whispered, his voice reverberating through the very air. "Everything here is born from hope, imagination, and memory. It's beautiful but fragile." Amy looked around, mixing with unease. "It's amazing. But why are we here?" Nights turned, his eyes narrowing at a looming darkness at the base of the crystal tower. A mass of shadow. Tendrils of black ink seeping into the soft earth, pulsed like a living wound. "A nightmare," Nights said, his tone grave. "It feeds on fear and doubt, corrupting dreams until they become nightmares that spill into other worlds. It has found a crack in the barrier between our worlds, and if it's not stopped, it will consume both." Sonic clenched his fists, his tail sparking with electric energy. "Then let's smash it." Amy stepped forward, hammer raised, her eyes fierce. "We'll protect the dream as hard as we protect Green Hill." Nights smiled, a faint, hopeful smile that seemed to brighten the very stars above. "To defeat it, we must combine our strengths, Sonic's speed, Amy's resolve, and my ability to navigate dreams. Together we can seal the crack." Chapter 2: The Nightmarish Labyrinth. The trio sprinted toward the tower, the terrain shifting with every step. Paths folded like origami, turning back on themselves in impossible geometry. Shadows flickered, morphing into grotesque silhouettes of familiar foes. Robotnik's drones, Echidna's ancient ruins. Even twisted versions of Sonic's own speed lines, now jagged and menacing. Sonic's legs blurred, each stride a streak of cobalt light. He darted ahead, scouting the path. "There! The crack is up there, near the spire. I'll draw the nightmare's attention." He vaulted onto a floating platform, launching himself into a spin dash that sent shockwaves rippling through the dreamscape. The nightmare, sensing the sudden surge of kinetic energy, coiled its tendrils and lunged. Amy followed, her hammer glowing with a pink aura. She swung it in wide arcs, each strike releasing a burst of luminous pink energy that pushed back the darkness. "You're not getting through," she shouted, her voice echoing like a battle cry. Nights hovered above them, his wings unfurling into a cascade of starlight. He extended his hands, weaving strands of dream fabric, threads of hope, memory, and courage, into a shimmering net. The net glowed with a gentle luminescence, catching the tendrils as they tried to grasp the heroes. "Focus on the light within you," Nights called. "That's what the nightmare fears the most." Sonic felt his heartbeat sync with the rhythm of the dream world. He imagined the wind on Green Hill, the smell of pine, the laughter of his friends. Amy thought of her unyielding belief in Sonic, the countless times she'd chased after him with a smile. Nights, ever the guardian, drew upon the countless hopeful dreams of children who had once flown through his skies. The net tightened, the darkness recoiling. The nightmare shrieked, a sound that resonated like 1,000 broken glass shards. Its form fractured, scattering like ash in a gale. But the victory was short-lived. From the shattered mass rose a new, more terrifying figure. A colossal, winged entity cloaked in roiling black clouds, eyes burning like twin suns. Its presence warped the very fabric of the dreamscape, turning the soft clouds into jagged spikes. "This is the true nightmare," Nights whispered, his voice trembling. "The core of all fear. It feeds on the despair of those who have lost hope." Sonic's eyes narrowed. "Then we give it something else to feed on our hope." Amy tightened her grip on the hammer, the pink aura flaring brighter. "Let's do this together." Chapter 3: The Convergence. The trio formed a triangle around the nightmare, each channeling their inner light. Sonic's speed created a vortex of wind that stripped away the darkness surrounding the nightmare's wings. Amy's hammer pulsed in sync with her heartbeat, sending waves of compassion outward. Night's wings beat in a rhythm that resonated with the collective dreams of countless sleepers. As they combined their powers, the nightmare let out a deafening roar, its form writhing. The ground beneath them cracked, and from the fissures rose shards of broken memory, glowing fragments of past adventures, laughter, and unfulfilled wishes. Sonic glanced at the shards, recognizing moments he'd lived through. The first time he raced through the Green Hill Loop. The day he rescued his friends from Dr. Eggman's latest contraption. The countless times he'd felt the wind rush through his quills. Each memory was a beacon of pure joy, a perfect counter to the nightmare's dread. "Now!" Amy shouted, striking the hammer against the ground. A shockwave of pink light surged outward, striking the shards and turning them into radiant spears. Nights released a cascade of dream dust, each particle a tiny star that fell toward the nightmare like meteors. Sonic, seizing the moment, hurled himself at blinding speed, his blue aura merging with the meteor shower, forming a comet of pure, unfiltered hope. The comet slammed into the nightmare's core, a brilliant explosion of light that sent ripples across the dream world. The darkness shattered, its pieces scattering like ash in the wind. The nightmarish entity let out a final, mournful keening before dissolving into a spray of silver sparkles that drifted harmlessly into the sky. The sky above the crystal tower brightened, constellations aligning perfectly, forming a radiant emblem, a heart encircled by stars. Epilogue: a bridge between worlds. Nights floated down, his wings now radiant with a soft golden hue. "You have done more than seal a crack. You have reminded the dream world why hope matters." Sonic, breathing heavily but smiling, brushed a hand across his chest. "All in a day's work. But you're not going back to your world, are you?" Nights shook his head. "There is a piece of this dream that will remain with you. A connection, an echo, so that whenever darkness threatens your world, you can call upon the dream's power." He raised his hand, and a small, glowing crystal formed in the palm of his left hand. It pulsed with a gentle rhythm, like a heartbeat. Amy reached out, placing her palm against the crystal. "We'll keep it safe." Nights smiled, a smile that seemed to light the whole horizon. "And I will keep watching. From my realm. Remember, the line between dream and waking is thin, but friendship makes it unbreakable." With a final flash of starlight, Nights ascended, his wings spreading like dawn. The crystal in Amy's hand glowed brighter, and Sonic felt a familiar rush of wind, an invitation to run. "Ready for another race?" Sonic asked, winking at Amy. She laughed, the sound ringing like a bell. "Only if you promise not to leave me behind this time." Together, they sprinted back toward the arch that led to Green Hill, the crystal's light trailing behind them like a comet's tail. The crack in the barrier sealed, the dream world safe for now, while the bond they forged glimmered like a promise etched in the night sky. As they emerged from the arch, the sunrise painted the hills in gold. The wind whispered through the grass, carrying with it a faint melodic chime, Night's song, echoing across dimensions. Sonic glanced at Amy, his eyes sparkling. "You know, Amy, I think we just saved more than our world." She squeezed his hand, the hammer hanging at her side. "We saved the dreams of everyone, Sonic. And that's something worth running for." They took off, their silhouettes stretching across the horizon, two hedgehog and hedgehog girl, carrying the light of a dream that would never fade.